Washington, President Joe Biden on Tuesday said that he's decided to cut out Ethiopia from a US trade program, setting the path for sanctions against the African nation over its failure to end a nearly year-long war in the Tigray region that has led to gross violations of human rights. Biden in a letter to Congress said Ethiopia has not met eligibility requirements to remain a beneficiary of the African Growth and Opportunity Act. The program provides sub-Saharan African nations duty-free access to the United States on the condition they meet certain requirements, including eliminating barriers to US trade and investment and making progress towards political pluralism. Biden also cited Guinea and Mali in the letter for being out of compliance. The president said Ethiopia was in gross violations of internationally recognized human rights. The sanction goes into effect on January 1. As Trade Representative Catherine Tai said in a statement, her office would provide each country with clear benchmarks for a pathway toward reinstatement, and our administration will work with them to achieve that objective. Ethiopia's government, which did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the White House action, had lobbied openly against the move. Biden's announcement came as US Horn of Africa envoy Jeffrey Feltman told reporters that the parties to the conflict don't seem anywhere near a ceasefire talks and called the humanitarian conditions in Tigray unacceptable. The US and United Nations say Ethiopian troops have prevented passage of trucks carrying food and other aid. Scores of people have starved to death, the Associated Press has reported. Biden signed an executive order in September threatening to levy sanctions against Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and other leaders involved in a conflict gripping the Tigray region if steps aren't taken soon to wind down the 11-month-old war. Without question, the situation is getting worse and worse, and frankly we are getting alarmed by the situation, he said, referring not only to the Ethiopian government blockade on the Tigray region but the Tigray forces' push into the neighboring regions of Amhara and Afar in the past 4 months, widening the humanitarian crisis. In a commentary last month in Foreign Policy magazine, Ethiopia's chief trade negotiator Mama Miratu wrote that Ethiopia's fledgling manufacturing sector could face an existential threat, and removal of AGOA eligibility would only worsen the condition of ordinary Ethiopians who have no connection to the Tigray conflict. He said that under AGOA in 2000, Ethiopia exported goods worth a minuscule $28 million to the United States. In 2020, that figure rose roughly tenfold and stood at close to $300 million, nearly half of it under the AGOA. He asserted that Ethiopia's removal from AGOA would deal a serious blow to the welfare of millions of low-income workers. Ethiopia in recent years had one of Africa's fastest-growing economies, but the war has brought that momentum to a halt. Just 13% of the needed humanitarian aid has entered Tigray in recent months because of intentional government restrictions. Some food distribution partners have been forced to suspend their work, and bodies are already consuming themselves because of famine, Feltman said. No government can tolerate an armed insurgency. We get that, he added, but said no government should engage in Massachusetts starvation against citizens. Feltman also warned that the US opposes any attempt by the Tigray forces to besiege Ethiopia's capital after the fighters took control of the strategic cities of Dessie and Kombolcha in the past few days, putting them in a position to move down a major highway toward the capital. Feltman said Ethiopian officials at a retreat in Washington in June were warned that Ethiopia's relations with the US were at a crossroads. The crossroads, the special envoy said, are behind us. Mesfin Tejinu, chairman of the American-Ethiopian Public Affairs Committee, estimated an immediate impact of some jobs lost, most among low-income female workers. I'd block test why.